Hey, Stand Up Memories has a new sponsor.
Don't forget the discount.
It's the Cycling Frog, and they make seltzer and iced tea lemonade that has THC and CBD in it, and it's all the buzz without alcohol. How cool is that?
And it's delicious, and you get 20% off if you use the discount code
SUM20.
SUM20.
SUM, which stands for Stand Up Memories, 20% off, SUM20, and get your Cycling Frog at cyclingfrog.com.
Cyclingfrog.com.
All right, it's another episode of Stand Up Memories. I am Peter Bales. That is Jackie.
You wore that shirt last time.
I know. It's laundry day.
Is that your show shirt?
This is my show shirt, and this is Jackie the Joke Man.
I'm colorblind. I just smelt it. Hi, Bob. This is Peter Bales, my partner.
And let me introduce our guest. I got to introduce our guest.
Go ahead.
Comedian extraordinaire. This guy is so funny. We go way back to some very tough gigs we're going to talk about. And he's still out there going strong. His name, ladies and gentlemen, is Bob Golub. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing great, Peter. Nice seeing you guys.
My hair was brown when we last talked.
What towns did we work together? Atlanta, Columbia?
Jackie, I gotta let me set this shit up. So we worked together 6 weeks down south. I'll never forget this because you were sending in tapes to Howard at the time, and you were writing books. And I remember there was a ton of tapes you would do to cassette tapes, and then you do your jokes and you send them in to Howard. This is before you was on the show. We did 6 weeks down south, and I don't know if you remember. I never forget numbers. And we were working this gig, and the guy said we were leaving that Sunday. So that Sunday we were going to leave. And he said, well, look, I'll just take care of you tomorrow, Saturday night. And I said, oh, we're going to get paid. Because we don't know if we're going to see him tomorrow or whatever, because I would take care of that anyways. But you said, let me go in. The guy had some money. You come out with yours. I go in and say, well, can I take care of you tomorrow? I go, well, you take whatever you owe me and write it down and take it out of that money on your desk. I don't know if you remember that. We were down south somewhere.
Yeah, because they'd say it's Saturday night and they'd say, we'll pay it tomorrow. And you knew that he wasn't going to be there. Even though we were working the next night, he was not going to be there. And that was probably Mike in Augusta, if I had to guess right.
And I remember we had to leave the next day to go to South Carolina, whatever. And you said, no. Because even though, hey, we go mess the place up. But I don't know if you remember this because he didn't want to pay them. Oh, no. And I said, I'm taking your cash register.
It was so tough because if he didn't show up with the money, we're in the middle of nowhere. We wouldn't have known where to go or whatever.
Right.
I was driving, We worked Charleston or Savannah and Columbia. It was a lot of different, like 1 week in like 6 different places, right?
Correct. And then we had to leave. And I remember that we stayed one place for 2 days, and this Asian woman kept coming in. And I'm going, don't come in because she would just open her door. So I went nude. And she opened the door. I was there nude. I said, now you're going to open the door again? But yeah, you end up and you said, I'm getting our money. And you went and got your money, I got our money. But that was, God, I can't remember.
Wait a second. I want to go back to the Asian woman and you went naked. Where was this? Was this at the condo?
No.
Where was there a naked Asian woman at a comedy club?
No.
How did I miss that?
Motel 6s. Because we were like Jackie said, maybe we do 1 or 2 nights one place. In fact, the place that the one that pays that's, the next day, we did a Friday and Saturday. Then we'd go do one night. I remember we were in South Carolina too, someplace. But we did like 6 weeks on the road.
It was we were in that car together forever.
Yeah. And I don't even know how we hooked up to go down and do the 6 weeks. I don't even remember who.
Now, where did you live at the time? Because I know I was driving.
Staten Island.
So probably we met at the first gig, and then you probably just traveled with me. It made sense. Because I don't remember picking you up. I just remember we were in the car together for a long time.
Yeah, we did 6 weeks on the road down south, man.
Wow.
Because we were talking about memories, I just remember the money. I never forget money. I never forget numbers.
And I remember the crowds were not easy. You know, they were still fighting the Civil War even back then, you know.
Yeah, you know, but we talk about tough gigs. I don't know if you guys ever talked about Betty's Fireside yet.
Oh, yes. Yes.
About
Toughest gig ever.
What's that?
Betty's Fireside.
God. Jackie, I was going to do a documentary on called The Worst One-Nighter in America. And I tried to get it going because Adam Sandler did it. And so I figured if I get Adam, I could get it going. He didn't want to do it. But yeah, it was the worst. It was the worst one-nighter ever.
It was a former strip club, correct?
That's correct.
And the stage, the bartenders were in front of the stage walking around serving drinks. And you were standing where the dancers.
We were behind the bar, don't you remember? Like
right.
Right. And it wasn't Brian Regan, the first gig he ever did was there. Came up from Florida. I told Brian, I said, Brian, this ain't comedy. Because what do you mean? This is like a fight. They're not good. This is not going to, I'm cute. No, and they ruined him. He was so white. I swear to God, I thought he was going to go back to Florida. That was his first.
You know, this business that we are in is so stupid. I never worked that crap hole. And to this day, it hurts me that I can't chime in. Because I wasn't a city guy. So, you know.
Jackie, I promise you, you didn't miss anything. Because right when I followed, when I ran after Brian, I went up and go, hey, you fucking asshole, that's my friend. What's wrong with you guys? That was it. It wasn't like a comedy show. Their whole thing was to heckle you. Who could survive?
That reminds me of the old saying, and Larry Miller and Jerry Seinfeld used to say about tough crowds, about the comics. We're not trying to do well tonight. We're just trying to hold the stage as our own territory.
Well, I mean, honestly, like the people that did well there never became famous.
Yeah, because if you did well there was something wrong. You could survive it. You knew what you were getting into. But I just wonder what the
know who you used to like to go in to work that place was Woods.
Bob Woods.
Big Bob Woods.
Big Bob Woods.
Because he could have defended himself.
A big old
Did you know him?
From Long Island. He's a legend. People watching, this is a legendary round mound of sound, he used to call himself. Passed away a long time ago in 1990. Did you know him?
Oh, can I tell you a story? You know,
absolutely.
So we're working Linden, New Jersey, and I'm with Bobby Woods, and I'm hosting the show. And Don Appolito, I think it was Don Appolito at the time of Chips Cooney. I'm not sure.
Yes. Don Appolito became Chips Cooney.
So this is the God's truth. So this guy comes up, he goes, hey, let me tell you something. It was a mob guy, a mob joint. And I hate to say when I was a kid, comics have no concept about working mob joints. They have no idea. So the guy comes up and says, hey, listen, the guys are with the wives tonight. This is a fucking respectable fucking place. I don't want no fucks from the comics. You hear what I'm saying? I want fucking a nice, clean fucking shop. So a lot of fucks. So the guys are with the wives. I go up and I'm doing my thing. Chips Cooney goes, you ready for this? Don Analipa goes, he does the Godmother. The place is packed with wise guys and the wives. Don Eppolito goes, I can't believe you come home at 4:00. You bring the greasy spoons with you. The goddamn wise guys. And I'm going on, and the place is quiet. And I hope you can see me. I swear to God, I look to the left and I see this guy with his big neck going like this. We're in trouble. So Woods goes up, was brilliant. I love Woods. He was was great. And we get done. Chip Cooney goes to the car. The guy, where's that guy at? And I go, I don't know. Why are you coming on me? Yeah, I told you not. I didn't say anything. So I'll never forget money. It's $80. Chip's gone. Me and Woods is there. He goes, I'm going to pay you guys half. I go, well, wait a second. I did what you did. He goes, I'll pay. You want the extra money? Come tomorrow. I'll give the other 40. I called boss up. I go, I'm going to give my money. He goes, you crazy? I go, no, I want my money. He goes, I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. Why are you going to go there? At 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So I never went and got my money and never went back there. But yeah, that's a true story. And like, I just wanted my money. I out of respect to the guy, I said, look, come on, you guys about respect. This is what I did. I did what you asked me to do. I didn't. Yeah, but what about the other guy? Well, talk to him. Well, he's gone. He left. So that was
a lot of battles like that. It never got old.
With the wise guys, Jackie and Peter. I mean, people don't understand that. Like the Dangerfields, the wise guys. You had to know what you do, and you just had to be. This is the real deal. This wasn't like something you see in a movie,
Do you remember a guy named? His name was. I think he passed away, but his name was Jerry Diner. But before that, his name was Jerry Dinerstein. And I had him out to a club on Long Island, and this is in the very, very earliest of days. And there was a bunch of motorcycle guys with their girls at a table, and Jerry made some kind of reference about, and look at these Hell's Angels over here. And these guys wanted to beat the hell out of him, not because he referred to them, but because they were pagans. And to call them Hell's Angels was their form of, and I hid him in my back. He stayed in the back seat of my car on the floor until the show was done. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, nobody ever got hurt. There was no fight. But who knows what, They could have been kidding, but I don't think they were kidding,
No. Not if you call them Hell's Angels, they're pagans. Hey, do you guys remember a guy named Frankie Blue?
Frankie Blue.
Jackie, you were working. Jackie was killing it back then. He wouldn't be doing these gigs, some of them. But I mean, Frankie Blue owned a place in Bayside, Queens, Brooklyn, and total wised out place. Total wised out. In fact, his office was bigger than the comedy club. And I swear to God, man. And the Necks were there. They liked me. They liked me because of Goodfellas, and they liked the toughness and stuff. But, they were, there was another place. And I remember I was there, and Goodfellas just came out. And Tommy DeSimone, who Pesci played, was a nut in real life. Way crazier than in the movie. He'd cut the fingers, the whole body's up. So Frankie Blue goes, I swear to God, he goes, hey, Bobby, I want to introduce you to Tommy DeSimone's niece. She was good looking, man. And she was at the bar, and she just sold a movie. And I said, what did you think? They made us look like a bunch of bimbos. Pooey on them. I swear to God, she did like fake spit. Beautiful girl. That's the same thing they did in the movie, where she goes, I can't believe it. They spit on their own floor. And she's doing this because I didn't think it was that good. I go, yeah, it wasn't that good. I don't want to, it's like Tommy DeSimone's niece,
We got to tell the audience.
Yeah, explain.
We got to tell the audience, Bob Golub, also a comedian, of course, but also an actor, a very pivotal role, I thought, for the whole plot of the movie Goodfellas. Now, how did that affect your career when you did that movie?
Well, it's really weird because it got more famous now than before. It's like my kid was in a school. They were just studying Goodfellas. It didn't do much because it really wasn't just one film. I've been working a lot lately. I just did Blue Bloods. Just shot that with Donnie Wahlberg. But it didn't. What it's happened was it's really been such an iconic movie. I don't care if I have my own sitcom. When I die, they're going to say from Goodfellas.
Right. And then that movie really has grown and grown and grown in stature. But even back then, I mean, everybody saw that movie. Everybody remembers that scene, which we can't quote.
But
I said two Edwards stole my truck. And by the way, a guy named Mike Ivey. Remember Mike Ivey?
Ah, tremendous comedian, Mike Ivey. Yes.
Big black guy.
Yeah, he's out. I've known him forever. He's the one that started a rumor I improvised those lines. So all these black comics come, Golub, what's up with that shit, man? I said, no, man, that Mike made it up. I improvised around it, but no, not the N-words. That was in the script. Yeah, okay. So like after 6 years, I finally said, look, there was one I added two. It was in the script. You know the movie. It's how
Yeah,
people.
I've heard that story. That story is famous.
I never knew that.
No, let me explain to the
I
audience.
mean, I never knew it was
We're
in the
not going to
script.
use the word, but in the movie Goodfellas, he said some N-word stole my truck.
Two N-words.
Two in that.
So Joe Pesci, Ray, I get out of the truck. I nod to Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta. By the way, we did 20 takes just on the walk, by the way.
Okay.
There's 20 takes just on the walk. And then I nod to them, very subtle nod. We had to go over that. And then I go in, and I come out and I go, and I go back in. You got a phone, two N-word just stole my friggin' truck. And so I blame it on two black dudes and Italian guys. We set it up, But to this day, it's unbelievable how, I mean, like, I always know someone's racist when I go, hey, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. I'm going, oh, sure. Okay. I don't think so.
So right now, I thought it was an ad lib. I never knew that.
Yeah, that's a famous story. It's very funny, but apparently it's apocryphal, let's say. It's not true.
And I grabbed my balls and curled my tongue. I was doing my dad. So he just let me go because of rawness. They liked me because, I never acted before. I almost got John. I was working with Frank D. Remember Frank? Oh man, the big Italian guy. Frank. He owned the
D'Amico. Frank D'Amico.
Frank D'Amico. You guys remember him?
Yes.
Is that a big guy?
Big funny
Italian
comic, man. And he used to book stuff.
You gotta remember, Jackie was doing, like, at that time, Jackie was doing like big shows at the weekends and stuff. So it was a silver star, so shooting star, I think in Yonkers, right?
Yes, I remember shooting stars in Yonkers. Yes.
Frank D'Amico and his partner. Now his partner was a wise guy. That's when he took me for a ride. I was working with what's a black guy from Maurice.
Maurice.
Maurice goes, and so Frank goes, hey Bobby, so these guys want to talk to you. And they take me out. There's a guy in the back, same like out of a movie. The guy goes, why are you going down to John Gotti's place? I go, well, I'm just trying to see how my character drank. No, you don't go down there. So I'm not a cop. And then he goes, then you go down to the daughter's place? And I said, finally, long story short, he just said, never again. I said, I'm good. My knees were a little weak. There's a guy in the back. I figured if they kill me, who's going to close the show? Maurice can't close the show. So, but by the time I got done on my mother's grave, they go, hey, he reminds me of Jimmy a little bit. Even though De Niro played Jimmy, I didn't know. I was going in for the part De Niro had already. I didn't know. But anyways, yeah.
That's that almost is a joke. Hey, the other night, Maurice closed the show. What, they killed the headliner?
No, but they took you for a ride. I mean, they cared where the comic went. I mean,
they just didn't want you to work at the competition's place, right?
When I went, there's a whole story. They're doing actually a documentary on this. How I got into Goodfellas, no agent or manager. I mean, literally, we didn't have this back then, so I had to get to people. Anyways, I didn't know anything. I never acted. I didn't know what sides were. I went in with a 9mm gun loaded, 2,000 cash, handcuffs, because cash and direct. I thought I was just going to get one shot, and I'm either going to handcuff this woman to meet Martin Scorsese. I had no idea it was just a general meeting. But when I put the money down, and I showed her the gun, she looked at me because we talked about 5 minutes. She said, well, I said, well, good meeting. I go, where's Marty? No, it don't work. It's just a general meeting. I had no idea what that was. When I showed her the gun and put the 2,000 cash, she said, I think you should leave. And I left. Like, I was going to handcuff her to me, but I didn't. And on the way, 6 months research, 6 months I spent. And I thought it was all gone. I'm all fucking like with the hair slicked back, the 2,000. I got a ring, I bought $4,000 ring. And I'm leaving. I'm crying on the subway like a little sis. All that work. And then 2 weeks later, I get a call and I'm like this. I'm going in like the character. I'm going, yeah, I'm right here. And then she called me 2 weeks later, and I had no idea. She goes, hey, this is Alan Lewis. Oh, hi, how are you? Total different voice, Look, we come in and get some sides, because I didn't know what sides were. Marty will meet with you, but here's the deal. He doesn't like guns. Okay, don't just come as yourself. Don't slick your hair back. Just come as you. That's okay. So that's how that, And I went and auditioned for another part, and then they offered me that little thing I got.
So you learned something important. Don't bring a gun to a movie audition.
No.
I think more interesting than that, Marty doesn't like guns. It's just funny as hell, right?
He makes them famous and popularizes them.
You know,
I've never done anything in my life. All I know is I just read a book, Wise Guys from Nicholas Pileggi. And as we do the one-nighters, as you know, I'm coming back, listening to John Gramling. You know, it's the only book I ever read back-to-back, cover-to-cover. I loved it. And Jimmy the Gent Burke, I related to because I grew up a big family. I was in prison. I sold drugs. But I never killed anyone, you know. But I just related to him. I just, God, if they ever do this, and I heard on John Gramling, oh, my God, they're going to do this. Scorsese is going to do it, and that's how that started. I was coming from a one-nighter in, who knows, Jersey somewhere, you know.
now, when I met you, I think you got some gigs at prisons, right?
Well, no, I was in prison, but I like, you know, Jeff Ross does these things at prison, you know, it's all like the cameras. And I did Rawway State Prison by myself, a white dude. No, I did that prison. No one
That's
ever
the one. It's right around the corner from Rascals.
Well, right. Well, it's not right around the corner, but it's like, it's Rawway State Prison.
Do you remember the Rascals?
Oh, of course. Are you
and
kidding?
the five Magnuson brothers?
They had,
Their father was the warden of that prison. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Now,
And he was a great guy. Their father was a great guy.
We got to catch up our audience here. Now, Bob is opening up about it's fair to call it a rough background. And, you know, the reason, right? Is that fair?
You know where I grew up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used to fight with Boom Boom Mancini. My brother fought. My dad fought till he lost his eye. Hell, my sisters fight.
But what he's saying was you weren't in prison doing a research project for college. You were in prison.
Oh, I was in prison when I was a kid. Yeah, I did a year and a half for pot. Well, they put me in for coke, but it's bullshit. But I fought in prison. I was a 91th inmate. Ready for this, Jackie? My number was Z0091, Zoo 91, like a radio station. I swear, I was a 91th inmate in this brand new prison. It was a state and federal mixed. And yeah, they stuck me in there. But then we started a boxing program, and we go and fight lifers and different people, you know. But yeah, I had to do something, you know. You're in there. I educated myself. I read, you know, cleaned up, you know. And so it's actually the best thing that ever happened to me, or they would probably end up killing me.
Well, I got to say, we have a lot of comics who are new who watch this podcast and I think clearly a really good background for stand-up comedy is prison and then learning to box in prison. Is that real?
That would be the path I would suggest.
But I mean,
either that or the priesthood.
See, I always say this, Bob. Stand-up comedy is for everybody, and it's definitely for you because you're so funny and you've done so much. But let's be honest, you were in Goodfellas because you had lived a life that helped you create that character that they needed at that point in the movie.
You know, also too, like when you grow up one of eight kids, not much money, you learn how to hustle. If you think about this too, when you box, it's one-on-one. When you wrestle, it's one-on-one. When you do stand-up, we don't have a band behind us.
Right.
It's us, right? It's almost the same thing, one-on-one.
It's that lonely that you rise or fall on your own strengths,
Right.
you know.
So, Bob,
like, if you miss the ball, there's someone behind you, maybe you can pick it up.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, that go get at, you know, I just look, I saw something, we're talking about Goodfellas. I just saw I just looked, it was like Rocky. I just wanted an audition. That's all I wanted. It was just the opportunity. I just didn't know that it was going to take me 6 months to get that, but I didn't give up, and I ended up, you know, in the film. But I've been working a lot, man. I just shot, I said Blue Bloods with Donnie Wahlberg. That was nice. In fact, you know, Donnie said to me, I talked about Nick's. I'm sure both of you have done Nick's before. I don't know, in Boston.
Yeah, I have. Yes.
So I said, I used to do Nick's. He goes, are you a comic? I said, yeah, for years. He goes, do you know Bill Burr? I said, my buddy. So let's take a picture. Really nice guy, man. So I've been working. I just shot this other thing where I'm dying in hospice. I die in hospice. It's really the best thing I've ever done with this phenomenal actress. But I've been working, I've been doing a lot of the acting. That's what I'm really concentrating on more.
Well, both. Great. I mean,
I just worked with Jackie. Jackie just worked Vegas, right?
I did what?
You just worked Vegas, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I just got home last night. Oh, I just realized that's what you said when you were first. Yeah, the Ahern. That's such an odd name for a hotel.
Yeah.
It's such an odd name, but it was great. I did 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was killer. Just great fun. Great stage.
we got to ask Bob. We have a lot of comics on, and come on, you have to admit, most nights the shows go great and they're so much fun. But everybody, especially when comics get together, like we're getting together right now, we tend to remember the horror stories, the things that went wrong, the really bad shows. And he already mentioned the legendary Betty's Fireside, the worst comedy club ever in the history of humanity.
The worst one-nighter in the history of comedy.
That's right. Do you remember things that happened to you on stage? And I'm going to say this. Okay, we're running out of time, but I swear, Bob, and I think it's funny. I did see you bad, tough one-nighter in New Jersey, probably early 80s. You did, it was funny. Believe me, it was funny. You flashed the audience.
Pulled down my pants.
Say again?
I pulled down my pants.
No, it was a quick flash. I wouldn't say.
Yeah. I used to do that. They pissed me off.
I love it.
Why not? Right?
Here's what I think of you too, So and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. But most of the times I would try to get a date out of it.
All right. Well, listen, to everybody watching who's thinking about going into stand-up comedy, don't be scared.
And watch Goodfellas.
And watch Goodfellas.
And watch for the scene for the guy making a phone call from inside a diner. What it was, right?
Right. Goodfellas. Hey, let me ask you real quick before we get out of here, Jackie. Have you ever done, both of you guys, there's this place in Pennsylvania. The guy used to try to pay us by Coke. I remember he said, hey, I'm going to give you, I said, no. If I don't want to do Coke, but if I'm going to buy it, I'll buy my own. He tried it, and he ended up getting busted by bringing planes of, I don't know if you remember this guy. I swear to God. Somewhere in Pennsylvania.
The Funny Bone, or it wasn't a Funny Bone, not the brothers.
No, the guy owned the hotel, and it was like in the hotel. Larry Holmes used to have the same thing. And anyways, he was in the hotel. And at the end of the week, he said, well, it's like $15. I said, I'll pay you in Coke. I go, no, I just want my money, man.
That was fairly common. Like the places where you'd go do the show on Wednesday, and after the show, the owner would do Coke with you. And then you do the show on Thursday, and after the show, the owner would do Coke with you. And then on Friday night, he'd say, hey, man, want to buy some Coke? And then you go, no. And what do you mean, no? I said, well, I'll glad to do it when you're buying, but I don't, we weren't making enough money to buy cocaine.
Wait, that happened to me once. The owner offered to pay me in Coke, and I said, how dare you? That's unprofessional. You're insulting me. And I started to walk out, and then I turned back and I said, wait, how much Coke? That's a switch on a picture.
That's a point, right?
Yeah.
And what's the quality of it? Did you step on this with a herd of elephants? I mean, is this shit Coke? I mean, I know the money's green, but no, that was in, God damn, I'm trying to think, somewhere in Pennsylvania. But yeah, but that's just the things of comics to have no idea. We've been around for a long time. We've seen a lot of different things. I don't think people in LA, they have no idea what it's like to work on Betty's Fireside or a tough one night.
I know. Bob Golub, you are genuine, you are real, you are funny, and you're an actor, and you're still doing comics.
You never talk to me like that.
Well, I'm being real right now.
Nah.
You are terrific, Bob. Thank you for coming on our podcast, man.
Well, thank you for having me, and good luck with it, guys. It looks great.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thank you, man. Jackie Martling, Peter Bales, our very special guest. He's coming to us from a halfway house No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Bob Golub. See you next time on podcasts.
Stand up memory.
I forgot the name of our podcast.
Wow, are you old? Thanks, Bob.
Memory.